think Diana lied to me today. I just can't figure out why.
I went back in.
Do whatever it takes to convince him to give you that product.
NYPD!
Now, Tariq's character has definitely taken a dark turn in Season 4. After the betrayal from the Tejadas and Effie, the glove simply had to come off. And now he's ready to make his move not just to build his own empire, but to cripple Nomar and the Tejadas. He wants to bring down everybody that betrayed him or did him dirty. And I think we can all agree, the Tariq that we're seeing in Season 4 is a little different. Dru, Nomar, Kane, all of these motherfuckers have to get it. That's what he says in the trailer for Episode 3. So in this breakdown, we're going to run through the trailer in a bit more detail. We're going to look at Tariq's next move, the new Connect, who we could get help from, as well as Dru and Diana's betrayal, because I do think Monet will find out in Episode 3. As always, I will also bring in a few scenes from other teasers and trailers that also match up to Episode 3. But first things first, let's just take a look at the title and synopsis. Now the title for Episode 3 is Birthright, and the synopsis reads, Tariq and Brayden must find an in with a vicious new Connect. Monet digs into who shot her, realizing her kids might not be being honest with her. Nomar tasks Kane with handling a competitor operating on her turf. Now, what do they mean by birthright? In short, I believe Episode 3 will be running with a narrative where Tariq believes it's his destiny to be in the streets, his destiny to control the drug market in New York.
I want to be the biggest goddamn drug dealer in New York City.
This is what he was talking to Brayden about in the cafe at the end of Episode 2. They tried being normal, they tried working normal jobs, being regular civilians, but that's just not who they are. This is who they are. So in Episode 3, we are going to see Tariq focus on getting back up on his feet, building his operation, but also seeking revenge on any threats, or over anybody who dares get in his way on his quest for power. Now at the end of Season 3, Tommy did warn Tariq. He said you're either a civilian or a gangster, there ain't no in between. So we've got Tariq finally accepting who he is. He says he wants back in and he needs a new Connect.
I need to connect without Nomar or Tejadas knowing.
Good. I'm taking 20%.
They also have to do this under the radar because let's not forget, one of the agreements of the truce was that Tariq wouldn't move any product. Now the person that Tariq will be approaching for help is Davis MacLean, who will be taking 20%. We all know he can't practice law at this moment in time, but he does know another profession that pays just as well, if not more. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking 20% in exchange for him stumping up the cash that gets Tariq and Brayden's new organization off the ground, because at this moment in time, they're completely broke. Tariq couldn't even get an Uber in Episode 3, so I do think he will need a bit of assistance from Davis. Davis also probably has a lot of contact in the streets, and maybe he's one that introduces Tariq to a few new players. So Davis mentoring Tariq, telling him to do whatever it takes to get that product. This is the Davis we were all waiting to see, the street Davis, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come, no doubt. Now we do also see Tariq meeting with a few different people in the trailer, and I'm wondering if this particular person is who they were referencing during an episode of the Crew Has It podcast.
We have a character in Season 4 next season who is probably the most unpredictable person Michael and I have worked with. And this
Unpredictable in what way?
Just, he was crazy.
They work with some crazy character, and I do think it is time we found out who. But how do Tariq and Brayden move under the radar? How do they set up a new organization and move product undetected? How does Tariq juggle being in the drug business, being in college, running 3 jobs, all while trying to stay one step ahead of Carter and Nomar? It's not Power Book 2 goes unless Tariq has multiple issues to deal with at the same time. But this season, I'm sure we can all agree, the stakes are higher than ever before. Now, as well as getting his own organization off the ground, I wouldn't be surprised if he's causing a bit of chaos for Nomar's. You have to ask the question, who will Tariq be supplying? Can he create a gap in the market for himself by sending one of Nomar's shipments up in flames? And is this a move by Tariq and Brayden to kind of just cause a bit of mayhem and mischief?
Nomar, Kane, all of these motherfuckers, they have to get it.
If Tariq is serious about bringing down Nomar and the Tejadas, one person who could possibly help who springs to mind is Effie. Let's not forget what her end goal is. She still wants to go to Stanford, but she can't do that if she's still stuck working for Nomar. We also know how she had to duck her interview to help with the Russians. Tariq could also do with someone on the inside of Nomar's organization to tell him the ins and outs of what she's up to. And with Kane looking like he's going to get into a relationship with Nomar, maybe that's Effie's cue to think, fuck them. And I do believe Effie can help Tariq to get to the top of the pyramid, and Tariq can help Effie to get to Stanford. I mean, they don't necessarily need to like each other, they just need to somehow find a way of working together, because it definitely can benefit both if they can. Now, in regards to Diana, Monet, and the whole secret around the betrayal, We've got Monet in conversation with Jeanette. She says she thinks Diana lied to her, but she can't figure out why, so she's on to Diana. She was already beginning to question her kids' roles in the shooting in episode 2, but she was looking in the wrong direction because her head's not right. We saw how she was still suffering from the after effects of the coma, so instead of looking in the direction of Dru and Diana, she was actually thinking, was Kane behind the bullets? Which does make sense from her perspective. Kane wants her to take a back seat. He's always wanted to be in charge and lead the Tejada organization, but he always has and always will be Mama's boy. Now, towards the end of the episode, that's when Monet started to ask the right questions, and she went to Tariq because her kids just keep brushing her aside. Every time Monet asks, do the streets know what happened? Have the streets got a name? Dru, Diana and Kane have literally nothing. Of course, that is no fault of Kane's, but I do expect the same to happen in episode 3. But this time, Monet will know something doesn't quite add up. So I think episode 3 will be where Monet begins to rumble Diana. It may even start with Diana throwing Monet a small white lie, because she's trying to hide the fact she's pregnant. So when Monet realizes Diana isn't being honest, it's going to lead to more questions being asked around, what else aren't you being honest about? Nobody knows these kids better than Monet. She raised them, especially Diana. She's the one who mentored and nurtured her. So the moment Monet starts to have this conversation with Jeanette, the moment she starts to ask the right question and gets her head straight, she will find out. Judging by this scream, it may even be at the end of episode 3, and then expect all hell to break loose, and where they probably set up Kane versus Dru. Now we've also got Obi in for questioning with Detective Carter, and I really do wonder where Obi's mindset is at this moment in time. We've seen a lot of back and forth between him and Noma, which goes all the way back to the beginning of 301. He has the green cards for his brother and his family. She also knows about the green cards. She's been questioning his commitment to her and her organization, and it looks like she's going to replace him with Kane. So, what's Obi's game plan from here? Does he talk? Or does he stay loyal to someone who wouldn't hesitate to get rid and replace him in a heartbeat? That's the question. Will Obi talk? Now, aside from whether Obi talks or not, I am interested to see how Detective Carter handles this questioning. How hard does he push Obi? If there's one thing we've learned about Carter from episode 2, it's that he isn't afraid to poke people with their thumbscrews to turn the tide in his favor. He did it with Davis in regards to his law license. With Tariq, he indirectly threatened Tasha's WITSEC protection. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is able to find a thumbscrew of Obi's, kind of how Obi did with Brayden, Kane and Tariq. We've also got the NYPD in a chase, where they seem like they have someone cornered, and I do feel this task force is different. Carter isn't here to play games on season 4, and he's already got one small win under his belt, and he's going to continue to make these drug dealers' lives on the street living hell, and it's all thanks to what happened to his wife Denise. So let's see how and who they have their eyes set on in episode 3 apart from Obi. Now elsewhere, we've got Tariq with his Porsche back, but I do think Tariq needs to keep his head on a constant swivel for Tubit. There's no way Tubit lets this slide. At some point, he is going to creep up on Tariq when he's least expecting it. It may not be in episode 3, it may not even be in episode 4. It's going to happen when Tariq is least expecting it. That's when he's going to show up. Hopefully by that point, Tariq's actually got his operation up and running, and he can actually offer Tubit something even more valuable. A stake in his business, product, or something which I'm sure we're all hoping for, an alliance which benefits both. So Tubit's return, let's keep an eye on it. If it doesn't happen in episode 3, it definitely will happen at some point. Now we've also got this underground fighting operation, where we will see Kane in a fight. Maybe that's how he helps Noma deal with someone who's operating on her turf. And just a quick one on that point.
There's a man named Mahoney trying to move into my territory. I want him gone, but
Mahoney was a character who was mentioned by Mecca in season 2, so I do wonder if we see him and whether his organization plays a role. But in regards to these cage fights, we're also going to see Tariq, Brayden and Davis here, so both sides might be trying to make a new alliance with the same person, so may the best man win. But that's a breakdown of all the scenes from the trailer, as well as a few extra scenes we've seen across social media and the official trailer, which I do expect to be in episode 3. It's going to be an episode where Tariq gets back to what he believes is his birthright. I feel come the end, Monet will also find out Diana was behind the whole betrayal in terms of her being shot, but whether she actually finds out it was Tasha, who knows. Only 2 people know that bit of information, Tariq and Tasha. In regards to Obi, will he talk? And will that mean he meets his end? Don't forget, they did also mention Obi has a brother for a reason, so there is another player to keep in mind. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.